That's good. I need to go back here to this, and so I can see what's going on. Now let's see. We should be streaming.
So the stream to start soon.
Bum, 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 dun, 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 dun. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the pre-ramble for the Painting with Manoth John Wednesday night extravaganza. I am, of course, Manoth John, and with me, as usual, is the co-host with the mo-host, Mr. John Spencer.
Hello.
Hello. Just checking things to make sure we're streaming in all of our streaming type areas.
That's right.
As we are wont to do. Let's see here.
Those hamsters up to speed.
Let's see what we are doing here. Looking at the Painting with Manoth John. Oh, how do I do this? Here we go. My channel. I want to look at my channel, damn it. And this is the upload section. I need to look at videos. I need to look at the living of streams.
I'm not sure if our sound. I'll have to go when I first listen to how the sound is, because
yep.
the quick check seemed a little late, but I know my system automatically mutes sounds in the background because I'm on Skype.
All right, I'm not seeing us live streaming on the YouTubes. So let me see here.
I saw us on the Book of Faces. Let's check on the tubes of view.
Let's see here.
Tubes of view all the way. Where is it? No, that's that's the wrong one.
Now that one here says that it's waiting to start.
Yeah, I don't see anything on the tubes of view. No. Says 7:30 p.m. set reminder is all I see.
Oh, YouTube. You change your silly intake nonsense all the time. So let me go ahead and look at this over here, and for some reason it seems to change the stream address all the time.
Yeah, we had some oh no, we already got a Ron.
Hey, Ron! Oh, that's PPS Charles. PPS. Is that somebody from PwMJ Press?
I mean, possible?
I didn't think anybody watched us from there, but thank you. We're happy you're here.
And if you're not, thank you anyways.
Yeah. How's Charles? How's the audio? I might need to boost up the John here a little bit. I gotta come over here to.
We can always use a little more John.
I mean, who doesn't? Let's see here. So now I gotta come here to the settings. Where's all my settings for restream?
Well, he says we're clear. Thanks, bro.
Well, good. Thanks, man. Whoops. I don't want to do that.
Someone give me a Ron. I'll do a Ron.
Hey, Ron. Well, I'm doing a little bit of the behind-the-scenes magic here. I'll be drinking here soon. I do not want to delete the channel.
After my day, drinking seems like the correct response.
Well, it says it's sending, but God only knows. You know what? I don't care. I'm gonna be absolutely positively honest about this. I don't care.
We're streaming on Twitch. It's on Facebook. Hey.
Everybody.
2 out of 3, not bad.
Yeah. Hey, it's DVK. Hi. Mr. Dan Vanderkoy, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's favorite anarchist.
And a lot of people's favorite DM. Depending if they like chickens or not.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to have a good time at John Con. It's going to be good times for that. Yeah. Who understands any of this? All right, I got to get me some of the beverage that I'm going to be talking about on the show.
Oh.
If you're a loyal listener to the Beer Forge podcast, you will know what I'm drinking tonight. See, the way I look at it, John, that's a twofer. Is if you tune in for that one, you get the preview perhaps on the alcohol. So on behalf,
preview on that.
yeah. So on behalf of everybody out there, thanks for joining us this evening. Looks like we got 6 viewers for the pre-ramble. That's super sweet and totally legit.
Absolutely.
So I'm painting tonight. I'm gonna continue to paint bears. I made no progress on these suckers during the week, because why would I?
No, I've made plenty of progress. Oh,
good for you.
Like I paint every day.
Oh snap! I was in Carson, Nevada, and doing that voodoo that I do with coffee roasters. And so I didn't bring any stuff with me, and just gotta check my camera's angles here. There we go. Yeah, got it zoomed in a little bit more this time. So, you had a bad day, huh, buddy?
I mean, it wasn't terrible. I mean, that's the worst day I had all year. I mean, it hasn't been the worst day of all year, but it was the worst day of all year. It would be a fucking great year, so. I think my back was turned, Charles. I was looking for paints. Let me know if this is any louder. If not, I'll turn myself up.
Well, let me see here. I'm trying to figure out. What?
Sorry.
I'm trying to figure out how we're hearing you. So let me see here.
Apparently with great difficulty.
Well, it's coming in. I just need to figure out which inputs it's on.
I mean, I got a little knob here. I can just turn this knob.
What you do in your own time's your own business.
Hold on.
Hey, there we go. Okay.
Is that too loud? Oh, I can hear me.
All right, so I can. Everybody, go ahead and John. Let's talk.
Okay. I'm hearing myself come through now.
Okay, that's a lot better. So basically, I just had I had the levels too low on my mixer. So.
I mean, I turned mine up. Are we getting any echo? Because I'm hearing myself through speakers.
You're hearing yourself through the speakers?
Yes, sir.
I bet you that's disturbing as shit.
It is. It happens on the phone all the time, though, so I'm pretty good at concentrating. Good story.
Let me back this off a touch here. All right,
Well,
so
it's only us, because they're not hearing any reverb or echo.
yeah, no, so I basically think what I did here is I turned up your levels pretty good, and so I'm looking at the waveform when you talk, and it's in the same neighborhood as mine.
Okay.
And I've also got the compressors on the mixer board. I can hear volume, but it's cutting in and out.
It sounds like what I'm hearing on my end now. Well, nothing this time, but every once in a while I hear a little something now.
Well, I've officially stopped fucking with it, so.
Well, we will see if it works any better.
Okay. As far as cutting in and out, I'm hearing good and smooth on my end as far as the Skype. So either it's cutting in and out because it's going to Twitch, or it's cutting in and out because, I don't know. I'm going to blame...
Yeah. But Good and Smooth was my nickname in college.
So, let's see. What else can we talk about? So we have a very exclusive and fun show for you tonight. We have... so, Dan, is it still cutting in and out when you hear us?
I think he's blaming the gobbers. Blaming the gobbers.
I'll always blame the gobbers. Ooh, I have to get a water dish. So my stupid cats were drinking my paint water, as they are wont to do. So I had to back that away from the crack pipe.
So I really like using the sort of like the glass sort of mason style jars, like the with the lids that you can seal.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because then you can just seal them up, close it, unless they knock it off. And if they knock it off, I mean, it's still sealed at least.
Yeah, I know, but the Iron Beard glass has been such a fixture on the show for so many years.
Fair, but I mean, you really don't want cats drinking that paint water. You start getting metallics, that stuff's not going out.
You're right. Nobody wants a cat having a seizure on camera. Nobody wants that.
Or what it might do to their poop.
Who knows?
I mean, even our cat should strive for happy poops.
Oh, always happy poops. Painting with Menouth John has been an outright, I would say a defender, if not a supporter of happy poops for a long time. Oh my God!
That callback I left in my back pocket. We are now out.
I know. I was just gonna say. I mean, I thought we went through all of them last time, and now all of a sudden here we are, a couple weeks later, and bam, here comes some fresh callbacks.
Oh no, John, you missed it. Some fresh shit.
Oh God! I'm a little rusty. I gotta knock the rust off, buddy. Gotta knock the rust off.
Fair enough.
So
I'm at work all day and I can't throw comments like this because customers do not like it when you are snarky with them on the phone.
Oh, piss on them or poop on them.
And they'd be upset when they go like, "Let me talk to the supervisor," and I get to go, "Well, as it happens, I am the supervisor."
Womp womp. Gotta drop the sad trombone on them.
No, luckily they don't get that bad, generally speaking. Most they do is interrupt me doing stupid boss paperwork.
There you go. Hey, by the way,
today.
by the
boss
by the way, on an unrelated note, it turns out that tonight we're the lead-in show to Miranda.
Oh, well, everyone's gonna have a lead-in.
I know, right?
She can just have the best.
I'm gonna tell you what. You go from the ugly to the beautiful, all in one fell swoop. That's taking a left turn at Albuquerque, if you will. Ha ha! See what I did there?
Yeah, you're using all the ones you could have saved that for next episode.
Oh, damn it! God, well, the shortest comeback in recorded history.
Sorry, guys, we're out of segues and out of our callbacks.
There we go.
We have to go deep.
I'm deeply excited about the fact that we appear to be also on Facebook. Somehow Restream was able to figure stuff out on Facebook I was never able to figure out before.
I mean, I stream on Facebook all the time. I just don't do multiple things in Facebook because Facebook gets a little cranky like that. It's clingy. It's like one of those girlfriends. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I can't speak from personal experience with that. Belinda is an amazing girlfriend. And provides me with quite a bit of space when I need it, and supports the return of the show and all that kind of stuff. Coffee is a fruit. Actually, it's probably a seed. It's the seed on the inside of a fruit. So there you go. That's your coffee education for tonight, brushheads. Get ready for it. Get used to it. That's all there is right no more.
More importantly, is salsa a salad?
Oh, why wouldn't it be?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't it be?
I think salsa sounds definitely like a salad.
I mean, it's low calorie. It's an amalgamation or a virtual cornucopia, if you will, of a melange of different vegetables and things like that. I think we can go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that solved an argument a discussion from Twitter from the week we were off.
Excellent. Is this going to be an argument about whether or not coffee is a soup? No, but coffee in soup could start a brawl. And, we're not going to go there. Hey, Crimson, good to see you. Glad you're here. Sassy Greyjoy. Yesterday was Sassy Greyjoy's birthday.
Yes, it was.
So we wished her a happy birthday on the Beer Forge show.
I have bacon, bread, cheese, and coffee. Is that kind of the balanced meal with all the four groups?
Bacon, bread, cheese, and coffee. Well, yes. Why wouldn't you? So actually, you know what? I gotta share some tips. So this is going to be the pre-ramble diet update. Down to 176.5, and the breakfast of champions is nitro cold brew and egg white bites.
Well, John, we're gonna have a little cheer when you make it to half my weight. You're closing on half my weight now.
We'll get there. Don't worry about it, man. And you know what?
Once I start losing some weight, I haven't weighed myself in a while, but I know it has not been those sedentary chair jobs. They get you.
Oh, I hear you, man. That's where I was at too. For me, it was all the free food. I spent
oh God, yeah,
all fall in hotels, and the hotel that I was staying at down in Augusta was a place called the Partridge Inn. It's a really beautiful place. It's a Hilton property, and it is in downtown Augusta. It's an old converted mansion with a rooftop bar and the nicest staff you ever wanted to work with. And let me tell you, they had a fine beer selection. So I drank.
That's even more impressive for a place like that, honestly.
Oh, it is. Honestly, I think there's some pretty good beers down there in the greater Augusta. I mean, Augusta's not exactly Atlanta. I mean, it's 2 hours away, for God's sakes. Yeah, the greater Georgia area, if you will. And
are there multiple big cities in Georgia?
There's a few. I mean, Atlanta's amazingly big, but there's good-sized towns. I mean, Augusta's not small. Augusta is about the same size, probably a little bit bigger than Racine.
I mean, after that day, coming from a tiny little state like Maryland, I mean, I ain't got much to talk about. We barely have a big city.
Yeah, and that big city came under fire this week, or last week. I don't even remember what it was anymore.
Oh, yeah. Our idiot in chief.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. We're going to try and keep this reasonably politically. No, I'm lying. I'll absolutely voice my opinion.
I mean, I was trying to be optimistic early on, and I would be one of those ones like, well, you can't blame him for everything, blah blah. I mean, I'm done with that. That died a while ago.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, today, I mean, on his way between Dayton and El Paso, he managed to insult a congressperson, the mayor, and one of his opponents in the upcoming election.
All I want is someone who handles himself with dignity. Just dignity.
I think that there's a commentator on MSNBC that nailed it today. And he phrased it somewhat like this, and I know I'm not going to do it justice. And that is, when you wake up, you got decisions to make during the day. And one of those decisions you can make during that day is not to attack someone. You can decide that today is the day that I don't pick up my phone and attack someone. He didn't make that decision today.
That's true.
Yeah, on his way to go to two places. He had two places to go today on one of the truly luxurious modes of transport on this planet. A 747 that has been converted into a literal flying house and military base.
Mm-hmm.
And in the course of his day, he couldn't roll over, stop eating that Big Mac he's got his lips wrapped around with those tiny little hands, and decide, you know what? I'm not going to attack somebody today because I'm going to go comfort grieving people. Nope. Not within his scope of purvey. Could not find it within his feckless little face. And that's why he's the classiest president we've ever had. Top-notch individual, that fella.
Yeah.
Well, we just lost our whole conservative base. All none of them.
I mean, yeah. Well, keep in mind, we don't hate either party. We hate people for who they are.
Yeah, you're right. I'm good with that. So, honestly,
never hate a person for anything bigger than who they are themselves.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I hate somebody.
There's strong evidence that the monster that shot up Dayton was as radical to the left as any white supremacist is to the right. And you know what? People on both sides of that thing are a piece of shit. So, yeah, good on you, Talcazar. Canada hates him too. Hey, Canada.
Yeah.
So, Luchador Bottle Opener, what do you think about our president? Hey, man, let me tell you. When that guy, he came in and shut up all the people at the Walmart, that is some bullshit. It would have been nice if 45 would have said something meaningful instead of being such a cox. Anyway, so there you go. Luchador Bottle Opener on today.
And there's this week's political commentary.
Yeah, well, he's a little worked up, Luchador Bottle Opener.
I mean, yeah, it's a heck of a week.
Yep, anyway.
2 weeks. Actually, no, it was only 1 week. I didn't count back over 2 weeks.
Let's get back on the positivity tip.
On the positivity.
We are the podcast of positivity. Trademark, patent pending, all the other words, whatever. So some positive things. We had a birthday like we talked about in the Brushhead, the Greater Brushhead community, and she turned 25 again. So good on you, good on you, my dear. We are
turned 25 again.
We had a big to do at the home of upcoming JohnCon 2019. We installed the party patio, which will feature smoking meats at JohnCon. I know you can't make it this year, buddy, but we'll see if we can't. I can't schedule it a little bit better next year.
Yeah, we're working on. I'm working on that. I got a couple things to take care of. I mean, as I say, when your ex-wife drops $5,000 of debt on your ass, things got to start looking at what you're doing.
Oh, Jesus, Palomino.
Jesus. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. I can take it, and that is my last gift to her. Hope she has a good life.
Yep. Oh, God. Anyway, so we're getting positivity, baby. Positivity.
That's positivity.
It is.
Yeah, it's probably for the best. I'm probably not going to either because it's just really not financially smart.
I get it, man. So, as I talked about, by the way, folks, JohnCon, if you look on the Twitch stream, there's a button down there you can press, which will take you to the PayPal site. We'd sure appreciate it if you would donate to the JohnCon cause. We have a target of $2,000 that we would love to hit. Don't know that we're going to get there. We're sure going to give it a hell of a try. And we'd sure, if you go over there to shop.spreadshirt.com/JohnCon, you can get not only the grumpy Warjack Matlock from last year, you can get something sweet with the cartoon version of me on it, and you've also got Beer Forge swag. Now, I know you're going to look at the prices out there, folks, and go, you know what, that swag is a little bit pricey. And you would not be wrong. However, I want to tell you that every dime that we make, and we get a cut from the shirts. I mean, we don't get everything, but every dime that we do get, that's going to go straight to the charity. I take no cut of anything. So when we rent the car for the traveling Keyforge tournament, from when we go from brewery to brewery to brewery, I pay for that. To be truthful, Starbucks pays for it because I use my frequent flyer miles and my frequent driver miles.
But still, you're using your perks.
Yeah, I use my perks for it. I take no dollars out of the fund. So get on over there and buy yourself some swag. If you don't have that much money, get on down below on that Twitch stream and click that button. And if you're interested in coming to JohnCon, send me a PM on the board or whatever, and we'll get you ready. Racine, Wisconsin, it's not that far from Milwaukee. I mean, that's a true statement. You can't argue it.
I can't argue it. I've been to Milwaukee.
Yeah, and you've been to JohnCon, so
I have.
But
it was
yeah,
a good time.
Yep. So this year we lost that big tree in the backyard. It's an ash tree, and the emerald ash borers are kicking everything's ass. So we lost the tree back there. The whole backyard is pretty much open field now, with a new slab of concrete, a 15-foot by, I want to say 20-foot slab. And so, yeah, it's gonna be great. We're gonna have the smoker out there. We're gonna have the grill out there. We're gonna have Eric Mac Davis, who is going to cater the event. It's gonna be amazing. And of course, we will have DVK running the Friday night RPG event. We're going to have that. We're talking about having a second RPG on Saturday night after the Keyforge event. And then Sunday, we're going to have the traveling Keyforge tournament. But, if you bring some miniatures, folks, JohnCon has all the gaming. Were you aware of that, Mr. Spencer?
I was aware of that because it always has all the gaming.
That's right. It has all the gaming. There's going to be Gaslands. There's going to be Monpok. There might even be War Machine and Hordes. But I don't know about this Oblivion stuff, John. I'm unsure about any of it. What am I supposed to do to get into Oblivion?
Well, I mean, shock of shocks, they have like a book or a box set or something coming out, which is crazy talk for them.
Well, the book, I saw the book of it, and I thought I was looking back in time.
I know. It's like, what's this? Is this, is this 2015 again?
I know, right? Oh, I know who PPS Charles is. That's Charles Foster's the goddamn third.
That makes sense.
Charlie, it's so good to see ya. Thanks for coming on the show. It took me a minute, didn't it?
Well, like you said, you're a little out of practice.
I know. Charlie Foster, folks, one of the sweetest guys in all the universe, and a hell of a painter. Super glad you decided to tune in with us. Give the wife a high five, and hey, Ron.
Wish I had something. I'd drink some paint water for him. But that'd be itchy.
Hey, we got 8 viewers. That's better than a sharp stick in the face. We'll kick the show off in earnest here in about 5 minutes. I'm not sure who Ernest is and why we're kicking him, but
I mean, he went to camp. He went to jail.
Or he did. I need to get some water. So, John, if you would like to give folks a bit of a preview for tonight's media section while I go get a water glass, I would appreciate it. Just tease him. Just tease him a little. Give him the tip.
just the tip, huh? All right. Well, on the media section tonight, I got a couple different things. I'm going to talk about a classic 80s band that I saw live. Then I'm also going to talk about one of the new release movies that was absolute batshit crazy. You'll see what I think about that. And then, if we have time, I'm going to talk about a movie that makes the Turkish Star Wars actually look watchable. So we'll have to see how that goes.
All right, I'm back.
Did you hear that last bit?
I did not hear that last bit.
Oh, oh, it's too bad. A movie that I might talk about a movie that makes the Turkish Star Wars look watchable.
Oh no. Well, first off, Turkish Star Wars is watchable. The Atlantic Rim is not watchable.
Yeah, well, Atlantic Rim's got a competition.
Oh snap, ladies and gentlemen, we'll sell you the whole podcast, but you're only gonna need the edge. That's what we're talking about here, folks. Actually, we don't really sell the podcast anymore.
No, really, it's free. You're welcome.
All right, so we're gonna use paints tonight. We're gonna use water. We're gonna have miniatures. We're going to be drinking.
I'm already painting. I don't know what you're talking about.
We're gonna be using all the tip of the paintbrush and the handle and the whole 9 yards. So, Talkazar, I would like to know: is this the opportunity for the mythological sixth shot of Kraken?
No, because I got to the whole thing without alcohol, mostly because I was running low. But I think if it's possible to get through without with alcohol, it's not 6.
So there's a channel actually that I may discuss during the media section called Tubi, I think it is. It's a free streaming service. I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I think in my part of the media section, because I'm going to tell you what, it's a treasure trove of garbage. Let's see. Oh my God, my Uber drive is making sure to let me know where all the gentlemen's clubs are near us at this moment. That's fantastic.
He knows a player when he sees one.
Charlie, when what you do in your own time's your own business, buddy.
All I know is my first Uber driver was very nice and friendly and pointed out all of the various sites in Nashville, because I was in Nashville for a client conference, which was fun.
Man. I have gotten to the point where I will Uber more often than not. I actually, when I was going to Augusta, I was driving a lot of cars. When I go to Carson, I was driving cars. But for the most part, if I'm overseas, I'm Ubering the shit out of everything. Hey, John, Drumheller. Hey, John, would love to stay to have to run to a BattleTech mission tonight. If you ever want to play a game, hit you up. I think that's aimed at you, buddy.
Absolutely. I remember. Just not a lot of time, I hear Hobby Streak and 2 podcasts gets to be a lot of time.
Oh, Candy and Diamond are on shift tonight. That's fantastic. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Brett Painter has entered the building. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are minutes away from your Wednesday night extravaganza. We kick it off the same way as we used to. We're going to bring you in with the music. We're going to make you feel loved. We're going to bring you the next 90 minutes of your life that you will never get back. I promise you that. So, I think that's a preamble.
Just take them.
We no longer give a shit about cutting the show and making, because, Patreon is not a thing anymore. So, we're going to go ahead and start this thing up. John, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and we'll transition over and we'll get ready for the rest of the show.
Oh, I am always ready, sir.
All right, here we go, folks. Stay tuned. This is the Painting with Menoth John Wednesday night extravaganza.
Anything, all you have to
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. You may have been watching the pre-ramble for the Painting with Menoth John show, but now we have literally ripped open a hole in the space-time continuum and have brought you to the actual Painting with Menoth John Wednesday night extravaganza. I am, of course, your guide in silliness for tonight. I am Menoth John. And, of course, you see him up there in the corner. You know him. You love him. He is the co-host with the mo-host. He is Mr. John Spencer.
Hey-o!
Hot damn tamale, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you thought the first time that we brought this show back it was a fluke because we were gone for a week. But I'm here to tell you we are back and better than ever. And we are ready to fill your next 90 minutes with fun, frivolity, positivity, and bears. Dub bears.
Not bears.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. It is Wednesday night, and that means it is all right. I would advise you that after 90 minutes of these two ugly mother effers, you are on store for the Miranda Show. That's over on her channel. I don't even know what the hell her channel is, but just like search Amazing Ladies of Gaming, and you'll probably come up with her. So she's doing a painting stream tonight. She will likely paint more than I will, and that's fine and dandy because this is the Painting with Menoth John show. And, John, were you aware that we literally have no sponsors right now?
I was aware. Our only sponsor is we're sponsoring John Con. It's the other way around.
So John Con, you say?
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is because he is the best in the business, Mr. John Spencer, and we are here to tell you that John Con 2019 is coming to a house near me because it's held in my house. You know, John Con 2019 has been compared to Gen Con. Were you aware of that, John?
No, I hadn't heard that yet, but I'm looking forward to hear all the stories.
Well, Gen Con,
some cool Twitch streams.
it was compared to to Gen Con in that it uses letters to spell its name, and it is indeed much smaller than Gen Con.
I don't know. I think John Con is slightly bigger than Gen Con because Gen Con is only 6 letters and John Con is 7.
That's right, folks. We are one bigger than Gen Con. Ladies and gentlemen, you can spend all that money in Indianapolis if you want to, but if you want to find an affordable con that helps people instead of, well, I mean, not hurting people, but we help.
Really terrible.
No, they're not like horrible people in Indianapolis, but
no, they're fine.
No, this sucks. They're in Indiana, but other than that, you know. Once upon a time, Gen Con was in Milwaukee. That would have put the two greatest cons, as far as I'm concerned, in the same state.
Dan PK's right there with you. John Con, bring the fun back to Milwaukee.
Boom! Bringing it back, bitches. You know, once upon a time, Gen Con was held in Gary Gygax's basement. Now, I'm not here to tell you that I am as influential a figure as Gary Gygax. I might be more influential. Anyway, so you all get yourself, you know, if you want to, if you can't make the big trek to southeastern Wisconsin and Racine, Wisconsin, we are going to be bringing you that live on Friday night. We're going to bring you live on Saturday. And we're going to bring you, no, we're not going to bring you live on Sunday because we're going to be traveling around. But the other times, we are probably going to be able to be online and you're going to have the opportunity to donate till it hurts. All for the benefit of the hungry of Racine, Wisconsin. You know, 9 out of 10 people think that hunger is a something that should be pissed on and put in a big old grave, and we're doing our part to help that person. That 10th person, he can just fuck right off. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to get more hype than that. Tectonic Craft Studios, they're more hype than that. They're not a sponsor of the show, but we still love them. Tectonic Dan, he uses laser beams. Were you aware of that, John? He uses laser beams.
Well, I am aware because he's a sponsor of my other show.
Well, that son of a bitch ought to get over here and give us some. Actually, he sponsors Beer Forge, so that I can't get too net. But you know, laser beams, they use light to cut through medium density fiberboard. You know, I was when I was a child, I often wondered, you know, I have some medium density fiberboard, and I wonder what I could do to burn things into it. John, did you ever think about things like that when you were a child?
No, they don't let me have fire. It's just safer that way.
Man, I'm going to tell you what. There are several things that will burn medium density fiberboard, and one of them is a laser beam. And it might be the coolest. So, it's a little known fact that Tectonic Dan actually shoots laser beams out of his hair, and he has beautiful hair. and uses that to create things that could be used in Keyforge or War Machine and Hordes or 40K or insert in brackets your favorite thing that he sells right here.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing. Let's see here. Let's talk about here. It's full of better smelling people. Sassy Greyjoy has nailed the hygiene level of John Con as better than Gen Con. So
it's high. It's high hygiene.
You know, it's
low gene.
You know, we're at Calcutta. We're taking it to John Con. You know, it's like these are levels. It's amazing. All right, so if you look down below, if you're watching on Twitch, and let's face it, you're watching on Twitch because there isn't a damn soul watching this on the YouTubes. To be honest, I'm not even sure we're streaming on YouTube. You can click that button down there. It'll take you to a PayPal site that you can. Every dollar that you give will go directly to the John Con charity fund. It's kind of a you don't get swag for it, but it's every dollar comes this way. If you would like something to actually like wear that would have a cartoon figure of me on it, or would have this little like robot dude right here. This is Matlock, the grumpiest of all warjacks. Or it could say Beer Forge in fancy fonts designed by a really great guy in Nevada. All of those things are possible if you get over there to shops. I think it's shop.spreadshirt.com/JohnCon. So, hey, swag. Somebody should order something. We haven't sold anything yet. So, anyway, did I ramble on long enough, John?
No, I think you did a good job. You're already in proper form.
I'll tell you what. After a half an hour of drinking, gets me into the right mood. John, what are you having for a beverage this evening?
Well, I'm going to start with some of this Firefly sweet tea vodka, and I'm going to follow it up with the other thing I really want to drink in the house right now, at least till after the show, and that is pineapple peach limeade here.
There you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to be drinking something that I blame one of my coworkers for at Starbucks. This is Bullet Rye, and I'm going to tell you, I like the Bullet Rye better than the Bullet Bourbon, and it's quite tasty. This coworker and I drank a fifth of this in one night, just the two of us, and I didn't feel terrible the next day. I didn't.
That's something.
Yeah, I think it's a nice. They talk about this Tito's vodka, John. I'm not sure if I understand the hype, but people say that it gives less hangovers, which I'm supportive of, 100%.
I mean, I'm always supportive of it, even if I don't get a lot of hangovers. It's still good to have even less than a little.
Yeah, it's super smooth. It's delicious. I give it compared to Kraken, I give it like -2. So there you go, folks. Well, John, what do you say we do some hobbying?
I mean, we gotta do one thing first.
Also, will I be exiled from John Con if I bring White Claw? Fuck yeah, you will. On behalf of both Mr. John Spencer and myself, hey, Ron.
Ron.
All right, folks. We know you've been waiting for it. There it is, folks. From the depths of time, the blue glove of love. And I would like to confirm that this is the same blue glove that was used in the kickoff episode 171. Were you aware, John, that you can go back onto the YouTubes, still watch 171?
I was aware of that, actually. The YouTubes. It holds a lot of shit.
It does, and it holds a lot of shit, and some of it is some of it is Menoth John. So what we're going to do here is there was a while there I was like, I don't know, salty perhaps, and I took down all of the Painting with Menoth Johns. Show of hands from those of you who are watching, who wants me to put them back up available? So there you go. Okay, John. Well, there you go, folks. John wants it, so I'll do it for him.
I mean, honestly, there's some good hobby videos there that we teach a lot of people a lot of good stuff.
So we're gonna go ahead and put those back up. Crimson's got his hand up, and we're gonna go ahead and put some of those up, and not some of them. There's 170 of them, so it'll take me a minute. All right, so John, I lost your camera for a second.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What could that mean?
I don't know. Oh, you switched it over. Hey, you've got your hobby cam kicking.
I do. I'm gonna be painting it all. Hobby Streak time. Day goddamn 600, and I don't really know anymore.
There we go. Telkazar says, we love Menoth John, and I love Telkazar. In a totally not creepy way. Unless he wants it.
John. Hi, Bozzy.
Ah, there we go. There's a callback right there. Free Menoth John. Menoth John's been free for a long time. I gotta get these glasses off because I can't see dick while I paint with my glasses on. All right, so I'm not sure how important it is to see dick when I'm painting, but we'll just leave that alone.
I mean, if you're painting a Privateer Press horse, then it might be important.
Mm-hmm. No, this is a bear, and it appears to be dickless.
Then it's a female bear, and that makes it more dangerous.
Yes. Well, we're not going to judge. So, all right, folks. So, the idea with this series, this current one, was that what we wanted to do was we wanted to compare GW contrast paints with kind of just doing it old school, with doing some two-brush blending and some glazes and such. Yeah. What's that, John?
Crimson 1919. Isn't not seeing dick the reason for the 120 base? I mean, you're right. That's a callback too.
You know what? It's good to have a community that cared enough about you back in the day that they come back and it's like you never left.
Indeed.
So so folks, while we were away those 2 weeks, one of those weeks I was in sunny and not humid Carson, Nevada. And it is plenty hot there. But I didn't get any painting done because I was there. And so what we're going to do here today is we're going to what I noticed after the show was that in spite of myself, I did not develop a lot of saturation on this bear. And, I get the fact with a glaze, you might not have a whole lot of saturation, but I clearly needed to build that base color, the tan, because when you get down to it, John, a polar bear has a lot of creamy color to his fur that is underneath. And I think what we're going to do here, buddy, is that after we build this up a little bit, and I'm just making sure I'm actually holding the bear where people can see it, because sometimes that happens.
Trust me, I mess that up all the time.
Well, believe it or not, folks out there in television land, when I'm setting the camera up, I'm going, Jesus Palomino, what's my actual field of view here? And then I still screw
I know
it
what
up.
you mean. I'm trying to get mine in a place where they can at least kind of see what I'm working on.
Yep.
With that guy's float. So,
now, I know that the contrast paints have been in great demand, but I haven't gone to any of my local stores to kind of take a good hard look at what's available where. And so I need to do that. So I need to get some of the white, I think. Now, I was corrected by one of the viewers after the show, and they did bring to my attention that the key, I guess, to using these contrast paints is to paint a solid white, to do a primer of solid white. That sounds counterintuitive to me, buddy.
It is all counterintuitive, but so they're actually more effective than that. They recommend that for their effect, but you can actually do lots of interesting things with contrast paints. People paint them over metallics. If you take, like a blue one, put it over a different blue, you get sort of like a very high pigment wash or shade over it.
Okay.
And A Dumb Wizard says, what you guys painting? Well, he's got a bear from the keg wagon.
Hooch Hauler, yep.
The Hooch Hauler. And I have, hold on, I got to find his name because this is of my life, not played yet, so I don't remember names all the time for these guys.
Telkazar, thank you so much for pointing out that was you that gave me that advice, and I really appreciate that because, like I said, I'm a neophyte for that. Honestly, this is my like sort of semi two-brush blend version, and it's not perfect because it's been a minute since I've done any two-brush blending. So, Charles, please try not to gouge out your eyes during the course of tonight's podcast, because that guy knows him some two-brush blend.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just kind of pulling it down here. I'm taking this glaze. But what I want to get to is I want to get more saturation onto the fur tonight so that I can come back and I want to give it a little bit of love with a higher white on just the fur, just to kind of pick out the highlights on the fur, because I think that is the way to make a polar bear kind of shine, which is you get that. And who doesn't want a shiny polar bear? Let's be honest, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
it's got to shine.
Shiny polar bear. I mean, shiny, but not like glinting metallic-y necessarily.
No. I mean, we're going to stay away from the metallics on this bear, except for on the armor. And we may haul out of the closet, John. We may haul out of the old archives, if you will, the old golden metals formula that I used to do all the time. That was that I thought was pretty effective.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why we keep those. That's the thing about the whole painting tricks. They build. You get this trick you like, you use on next model, and then you add to it and keep adding, and then you got a whole repertoire of painting techniques.
You know, John, this feels pretty good. This feels good to be back in the old saddle, doing a little bit of painting, talking to my buddy John, doing the whole 9 yards here. This is good times, pal. Good times.
The shocking thing must be that I'm actually painting too.
Well, it is. It's a little hard for me to wrap my arms around, but you know, in a universe where you know they're talking about having an Event Horizon series.
Event Horizon.
Mm-hmm. Can't wait for can't wait for the demons to gouge out somebody's eyes while skull fucking them on national television. Ought to be good times.
You haven't that song, have you?
Should be good times.
There is a band called 357 Lover that does a song called Event Horizon that is very much based off of the movie.
Oh boy,
it is a thing you have to hear and see.
I bet.
Oh yeah.
Was it banned on awesome. Was it banned on YouTube yet?
No. It's actually just it's PG.
Okay, cool.
But it's just good indie band crappy rock.
Nice. I can't wait for them to make Sam Neill the ship captain as a nod to the original. Well, there you go. F that ship.
but he's Dr. Weir. You can't.
So I'm looking around here.
They dropped out of that movie that I've seen like once.
The thing that I need to kind of keep in mind, John, while I'm working on this bear, is that a lot of this bear isn't going to be visible.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes when you're doing it in parts. You're like, that's not going to be visible, but you know, it might just be partially visible. So
yeah,
we paint that shit anyways.
This is not going to be in. This is not going to be at Gen Con. Which has the second best painting competition, even if John Con doesn't have one. National hate on John. Hashtag hate on Gen Con.
I hate on Gen Con, but you know,
no, not really.
That's not what it's there for. It's like the big. I went to a gaming con so I'm like, go to Gen Con. Cool, you'll have a great time. But I was listening to a I don't know, we'll say podcast, even though it's more YouTube based, but not stream, about the Transformers TCG that I play, and they're like, if you're going to Gen Con to play Transformers, don't expect anything else. And I'm like, isn't that a waste of going to Gen Con?
Oh yeah.
I like playing games as much as the next guy, but I don't want to spend the whole con like that playing one game.
Yep. I will say this about Gen Con. Were it not for Gen Con, I never would have met Rich and Dan and all my buddies out east. So that is, as far as I'm concerned, reason enough that to give much respect and much love to the Gen Con.
Oh yeah, it's a good con. It's a different con.
Oh, it sure is. Sure is.
It's that you go once in a while. Like the guys who go every year, I'm like, wow, you guys okay? I could see going, every third year, something like that, as like a big event with some buds, and then you go to the local ones, the local-ish ones that are smaller. You can do more stuff at.
Fair enough.
But that's my view. What do I know?
No, it's all good. Okay, so now what I did is I took a little bit of gray that I had sitting on my wet palette right along here, and I'm just going to bring that darkness up to the top. I need to get a little bit more darkness going on here. Darkness at the edge of Bear. Wasn't that a Springsteen album? Let's see.
Possibly. You're catching me in my weak spot.
That's all good. Usually got to pay extra to touch him in his. Oh, catch him in his sweep. There we go. Never mind. All right, so.
Toxler says, "What about the Sioux? The Sioux is supposed to be a good time. I wish I could make it, but I mean, it's a little far and not really my game anymore.
No, the Sioux is amazing. The Sioux is so damn cheap. Uh, it really is, and it's a great time. It's just I got to figure out. So the Sioux last year didn't happen because I had so much work to do, and I was in the process of just finishing up the Augusta job that I was working on. That's done. That plant is started up and is doing its thing, making coffee. If you're on the East Coast, you might be drinking some of the stuff I helped commission. But the Sioux is amazing. It's really cheap. It's in Hamilton, Ontario. So like $1 American is like $64 Canadian or something, and it's not getting better. So here we go. There we go. That
Might
bear's
get better.
that bear's looking pretty snazzy, I think, right now. So
Oh yeah.
let's get some more, a little bit of shade on him here. Throw a little shade at this bear.
I was going to, but I got nothing on hand. I mean, oh,
Oh, bear,
yes.
you've got no career. Ha! Take that. Throwing shade at this bear.
Oh,
Oh, bear, you still live in your mother's basement. Throwing shade at this bear. This bear can't dance. This bear's got no game.
he got no game. Oh, he's going for the hardcore ones now.
Oh, I know, right? This bear,
Oh,
nobody comes to your backyard. Bear. See, you can't get shade like this everywhere.
no, you can't. You gotta come here for the good quality shade.
Hell yeah. Cardi B can't throw shade as good as this bear.
That is the second time Cardi B's come up today, and I still have no idea who the fuck she is.
She is she's a pop culture type person. She's like, I don't know. She does things. She's famous for being famous. I think she sings, maybe. I don't know. I stopped listening to music 20 years ago.
That's fair. I mean, I listen to occasional new stuff, but not most of it's not great. I mean, occasionally you get a song like, "Oh, that's really good. Good job." Otherwise, I go back and listen to what I call my crappy '80s rock, which I really love, or my ska, which I love even more, or metal. I love
So,
metal.
so Dan VK saying that Cardi B canceled the show 15 minutes before she was supposed to go on stage. That is some shit right there.
Who does she think she is? Axl Rose?
I know, right?
There's an old person joke for you people.
It's funny because it's true.
That is also correct.
So I'm getting pretty sick of fucking around with this bear. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I think
Well,
it's
I mean,
well, I think it's time to get a little bit more color on him. I think I've been playing around with tan this and gray that and all this other garbage. I don't know if
I
this is any
say
good.
when I'm streaming and painting and rambling on by myself, sometimes you just gotta start with whatever colors you know they're gonna be and just go.
Yeah, I know. I think it's time to put a little bit of color on the. We're gonna stop all this pussyfooting around, and we're gonna get ourselves out some metallics.
Oh
For
snap!
God's sakes.
I am painting brown on bases because that's exciting.
That's exciting. You know what else is
But
exciting? A little bit of rye here in a shot glass that says "Painting with Ben Off the John" on it.
oh snap! That is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I've been painting so much I haven't grabbed anything.
Rule
But I will get some in a bit.
Rule gold, you say? Better shake the shit out of this.
Oh, John. Well, if you get the need to buy more paints and you don't mind waiting a little bit for them to get there, scale 75 metallics, dude.
Are they the bomb diggity?
Yes.
Okay.
With a double shout out for they have a black metal, which is a very dark. I mean, standard Metallica that is one of my favorite colors. It is a great base. You can easily put whatever you want over it. They get all the good metallics. The only thing you need to find now is a good brass because the GW brass is just not going over well. I mean, I love the color, but it's like a PP metallic paint for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And I mean, they got better. You got the right bottles of PP metallics. They got better, and they're usually pretty good. But some of these GW ones are just terrible bad.
The black label PP metallics from my standpoint, I think were some of the better ones. The
Oh yeah,
problem,
they were good.
the thing is that you got to keep in mind with these, with the PP metallics, is that you're not gonna. It's gonna take layers, much like an onion. It's gonna take layers, and getting it to
It's
paint
sticky to makes you cry.
exactly. So
Sorry, it's my there's my Shrek joke for the day.
exactly, and who don't like a parfait? And so it's gonna you have to be a little patient with them. You have to give them the love of the brush, just a little bit. That's a callback.
Don't use them all up, man. we shut both barrels of those callbacks in the first one, and then now we're like, what are we using?
I know. Well, we got to come up with some new ones, man.
What are the fresh jams?
This is series 3 of the Painting with Menoth John, whatever night it is, extravaganza. Used to be the Sunday night extravaganza. Now it's Wednesday night extravaganza. Who knows? Wednesday night's feeling like it's going to stick though, because that is the night that the Belinda librarian. By the way, she sends a shout out to all the brush heads to say howdy do, and this is a night that she spends with her mom, and that is super sweet. So there you go.
Yeah, and I'm almost always home this night because it is, generally speaking, Transformers TCG night. And I get done and I come up here and we do some hobbying and some painting and some yapping.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you, John, making time for the return.
Always, man. Always. All right, let's do this.
So I'm not sure.
These cobblestone guys, and I did like this hodgepodge cobblestone. It looked okay. But I just found that having the black in the recesses was too much. You need to get some brown in there or something just to make it not look so shockingly different there.
Got it. I see what you're doing there. All right, so we're just gonna we're gonna put this first layer down on all of where I think the coppers are gonna be, and what I'm doing here, folks, is I'm imagining this kind of golden colored armor part, this bronze, to be then have an overlay that has been sort of blacksmithed into it, and that's the part where the little rune stones and whatnot are going to hang from. And then I'm going to come back over the top here and pick up these little raised hornlets or whatever the hell you want to call them. We're going to make those kind of a silverish color, and then we might take and we might give them a little splash of color there on the top, where where there appear to be almost like stones set in the tops. I mean, obviously they're not sharp, so they're not armor or anything like that. But I think what we'll do is we'll come back there and we'll just make them into little gemstones or something. Who knows? You know, you do you when you're painting. I mean, Bob Ross had that part 100%. There's not much he didn't get wrong. He didn't get right. I mean, was a master, and you got to be you. You got to make this model be what you want it to be because it's your model.
And he's right. If you take those, as he calls them, the happy accents, where you get the wrong color in the wrong spot, sometimes it turns out you're like, hey, I like how that looks better, you know, and then you start going a different direction.
Yep.
You just got to keep an open mind about it, you know, and just look, as every little thing like that is potentially an opportunity.
An opportunity to excel, as a former coworker of mine would put it.
Well, that's good. A lot of people just get, you know, stuck in their rut, aren't looking for the opportunities. There's too much. You can get too hard waiting for you to get it all right, not realizing that you had a chance to do something different and special in the meantime.
Yep. Exactly. So we got some. Holy shit! Did we have a Belinda sighting here? No, I don't know. Belinda, Sassy Greyjoy gave a big Belinda shout out.
Probably because we were talking about her a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, there you go. She's an amazing lady. I'm very lucky to have her in my life. We've been together for 6 years, man.
That's a long time.
It is a long time. Gonna be there a lot longer too.
Awesome. That is awesome.
We're not gonna fuck it up with marriage, I'll tell you that. One man's opinion.
Unless someone wants it, right? You know?
One man's opinion.
Hey. That's all it is. It's all good. Not for everyone. It's not.
For those
sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's not.
For those of you who have figured it out and love it, God bless you. More power to you. So, let's see here. So we've got these bears going on here now. Once we get past these bears, I'm gonna get this guy all kind of dolled up and looking fancy and shit. And probably before I got too far down this, I probably should have come back and done a little bit of dry brushing on this fur, because what's going to happen is I'm going to end up goofing up my metals and have to touch them up after I get done dry brushing the fur. So I may finish this one plate here.
It's sort of like catch-22, John. If you do all the fur, you might get it on the metals, and then have to fix the fur, or get the metals on that, and then have to fix that. Or if you do it the other way around, you might have to fix the other one. So I just sort of decide which one you want to fix.
Well, I think I want to fix the metals, because I can more easily fix the metals than I can fix the fur, I think.
Well, then there you go.
So, because when I dry
have the plan of attack.
That's right. Because I mean, the metals are pretty easy to clean up and make happy. The fur needs kind of a little bit of attention. So I think we're gonna stop with the metals right now, and we're getting it blocked in here, as you can see. It's coming along. This plate here is gonna be, I have to think about, because I was planning on doing silver for these, which means I need to, this might need to be gold anyway. We might have to go gold on this, because this was going to be silver, and I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be like a static color. Although, this could be pink.
I mean, you can't go wrong with pink, I'm going to say.
Well, all my trolls are pink, and this might be an opportunity to pick up some pink on the bears. So I think I might do that. I think I'll probably do a little bit of pink on here. We'll see how, folks, if it turns out to be not optimal after I get done, guess what I can do? I can paint over it. I can paint over it. So.
Okay. There it is. Sorry, guys. I was looking for books I can write down. I suggest writing down what colors you use on stuff, so when you take a break, go to something else, and come back, you can remember.
Oh, I know. That's a pro tip I should have followed a long old time ago.
And any notebook works. Doesn't have to be special. I got this one from the show I was just at. So, hey.
We're going to pour a little more rye here. And then we're going to bust out some very white. We're going to go with Morrow white. Whoop, Jesus. Hitting the microphone, as I am wont to do, because I'm a professional podcaster. All right, so we are going to bust out our dry brush. And my dry brush of choice right now is a number 6 American Painter. I think I got this at flippin' Michael's or some nonsense. Hard to say. It's a cheap brush. It's not a good brush. You don't ever want to get a good brush and ruin it with dry brushing, because this is hard on them bristles. And what I'm gonna do here, because we might have a couple of less experienced painters out there. This show fancied itself to be a beginner's painting show.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to continue that on. So I'm going to get a little bit of paint on there, and you'll see I'm wiping an awful lot of it off. And that's kind of the key tip when you're dry brushing. Now, what I'm going to do here is that you can see where I've got the texture on the fur, and I'm going to go perpendicular to that texture, and I'm going to go very lightly, because all I want to do is I want to pick up the high spots. Now, that wasn't quite enough paint, so we're going to put a little bit more on here. And what you'll notice is you got to be really careful. You just want to kind of pick up those highlights. You don't want to accidentally just like repaint the whole model, because that's not why you just spent all that damn time dry brushing and wet blending and all kinds of crap. So, and what this is going to do is this on a miniature is where you get it. That's your money shot. You're going to get the you're going to show all the detail. That's the stuff that someone like a Doug Hamilton, he's going to sweat them details on your model. So don't disrespect them by screwing it all up and not paying attention to the details. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep on bringing these highlights up, and you'll notice what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of think, okay, this is a high spot on the bear, so I'm going to highlight the highlights a little bit more there, because I want to break like the wind, you know what I mean?
I break like the wind all the time.
So we're going to go ahead and give this
That's not what you meant.
We're going to go ahead and give this a little bit of love on the knee. You're going to get this polar bear's knee a little happy. Oh, that's a happy knee right there.
I am now doing the most fun stage ever, which is touching up where I got shit where it shouldn't be.
Yep. Pro tip for those of you who are painting it along at home, don't put paint where it doesn't belong.
Honestly, that was reasonably clean. I am slightly impressed with myself.
But sometimes you do put paint where you don't want it.
And then, you know what happens? Just clean it up or see if you can work it in.
Yep. Maybe it's the next best feature of your critter. Yep.
Yeah, this brown is the basis for these cobblestones. Is going to do good work. And then I decided I'm going to stick to a handful of different colors for them.
Sure.
And sort of do them in batches. So you like this little batch is going to be this color. So that way it's not. I mean, I did them like everywhere. And almost none next to each other, just random hodgepodge, and it was interesting, but maybe a little too much.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a longtime watcher of the Painting with Metal with John show, you will recognize the fact that John has engaged the crotch cam.
Well, it's a crotch cam where you can't see what I'm painting because that's sort of my style.
There you go, man.
Oh, hey, John, do you recognize who this is? Oh, you may not.
I don't. What is that?
That is Minsk and Boo from Baldur's Gate. It's also well high.
Oh, nice.
So, sometimes you get those models just to paint them. I don't know. Maybe I'll play D&D sometime. Oh, yeah, that's not going to happen. I play Sophie role-playing games. It's crazy.
I play right now. I am every Saturday night. Most Saturday nights. I run a D&D campaign for my family.
Oh, that's awesome.
Belinda.
I still run game. I run The Adventures of Sewer Bear is on hiatus.
Okay.
But we're running what we call Mediocre Trouble in the Big Easy.
There you go. That sounds great.
Yeah, it is a Feng Shui, the sort of action movie role-playing game, and it is a hoot.
I have heard of Feng Shui. And I'm not talking about sparking joy. I'm talking about the role-playing game.
It is absolutely a hoot. It is super fun. And even though it's supposed to be, all fight and action movie all the time, we've actually had sessions without combat because my crew is crazy like that.
It's my kind of crew.
Oh, yep. Dan VK and Bonzi both recognize Minsk and Boo. Let me ask you guys, if you see Minsk and Boo in like as models in a game store, how do you not buy them? I was like, yes, I'm buying those. Everybody's like, what do you use them for? It's Minsk and Boo. I mean, that's part of my young adulthood.
I use them for remembering.
That's right. Nostalgia is a thing. I bought when Drumheller was down here. I bought the starter set for BattleTech just because it's nostalgia. I paid $20 to have some cool nostalgia sit on my shelf, and it's got 2 models in it that I may paint eventually. That's how it goes.
Yep, I've got the Catalyst Games. I forget which edition of BattleTech it is, but that was a game I never got to play, but I played as one. It was the first video game I ever fell in love with. Was the BattleTech games, and now that I enjoy miniature games, I wanted to have that so I could have the experience as a miniatures game, and I'll get there someday.
It's dated, but hey, it's a hoot sometimes.
Yeah, so am I. So there you go.
No, John, I have to think that since we're streaming here on the Twitch, we kind of advance with the times.
You know what? I'm gonna allow it. I'm gonna allow it.
All right. So I need to think.
So there we go.
So these little guys are going to be they're little. It's hard to tell if I'm in frame or not.
I can see it. Okay.
These little guys, they get this armor on their chest. I'm trying to decide what color to paint it. They're going to be sort of like this bluish gray color. So I'm just trying to. I'm not sure if I'm going to go full on gold or not, but maybe just go full on gold. Yep. Ostentatious.
Oh, always ostentatious, man. Always.
But I might just go with the sort of middle tone, this brassy brass here from Game Color, which is a pretty good color. Tell you what, I got 2 of them. Let's try one.
So we're
like Nikki says, just do it, right?
That's right. There you go. So, are you making your coworkers settle disputes for you with Max?
Oh, with Bonzi using BattleTech at work.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how that, if you will, plays out.
Okay, so we're getting along here. We're coming along.
Gotta keep track of time. I mean, time flies when you're painting, right?
Yeah, it is 7:41. We're getting, folks, we're 20 minutes away from everyone's favorite part of the show, and that's the media section. That means it's plenty of time to get on over there. If you go down below on the Twitches and check your donations, you can go click on donations. Did anybody donate? I don't think anybody's donated on this show, so you should all
But I
be.
bet someone bought a shirt.
Someone bought a shirt?
I'm sure someone bought a shirt.
Oh, that would be you?
Of course it was me.
God bless you, man. God bless you.
It's got to be at first. It's me. And I'll wear it on the stream as soon as I get it. It's bright yellow because I was like, you know what? I like bright yellow. Let's do that.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, John. I sure do appreciate it.
I am a sucker for the swag. I'm also a sucker for donating, but swag and donating is the best.
So I'm gonna turn this light off here so maybe it doesn't oversaturate the bear so much. It's coming along. I kind of tell you I'm not in love with it at this point. We'll see. So I think I'm done dry brushing the fur. So we're gonna go ahead and clean that brush up. We're gonna give that mighty brush. We're gonna beat the devil out of it. For those of you playing along with the Bob Ross bingo. All right.
The devil out of it. Yep.
Okay, so now let's see here. I think we'll go back and we'll clean up the golds while I've got some gold paints sitting here in the wet palette.
Well, I must say, this brassy brass is an interesting choice. We'll see if it is the right choice when I get done with the base coat, but it's interesting.
Bonzi's telling me that his wife stole the painting with Mouth John shirt. That means you can buy another one.
Yeah, I mean, and you can share, and sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring, and we have all the same selections from last year because we knew that the grumpiest of all Warjacks was a very popular design. That was a Florian Stitz deal. And we have some new sweetness out there. We have a Warcaster version of me in Menoth armor sitting next to the soup can logo from John Kahn. So it's a little masturbatory. I have to put it out there, but it's from
the man who made the Podfather shirts. That's a powerful statement.
I'm going to tell you what, I struggle to wear the Podfather shirt because having a shirt that literally has your face right below your face is
awesome.
It's awesome. It's a little masturbatory, but that's okay. You know what I do in my own time is my own business, right? That's always been our policy.
Well, I don't know if the brush heads heard it, but I told the story, at least to you, that one of the ladies at work saw that shirt and like, who's the Podfather? I need help. And I'm like, well, that was my co-host, but I can help you.
There you go.
And helped her start podcasting.
I am glad that I was able to facilitate that. So actually, and I told the story on the last show about the woman at the Kenosha County where Belinda works, and I helped her get a show going, and she's terrific. She's a wonderful person, and they're helping some people. I'd give a bunch of details about it, but honestly, it is literally for people who are in the greater Racine-Kenosha area. So there's not a lot of benefit to getting over there to hear all about the benefits you cannot take advantage of.
I am a mediocre white man with opinions. Can you help me start a podcast?
That's right. Yes, I can do that. But
oh, John, we didn't talk anything about Gen Con and maybe some of our old friends. Do you want to talk about old friends and their new game real quick?
Old friends and their new game. So I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about because we have my buddy Adam Ball, who is from Ball Full of Games, who has got his Kickstarter going on right now.
Oh, cool. We should make sure people know where that is.
Yep, that is a game called Onslaught. So if you get on over to the Kickstarters, it's his first game. I've played it, and it is good. It is a card game. It's a tower defense card game. Really think the world of it. And if you just go Onslaught game or Bol, spelled B-O-L, full of games. It's close to making its very modest Kickstarter threshold, and it would mean a lot to him to get that over on his first try. So check it out. What were you exactly? Were you talking about that one, buddy, or were you talking about a different one?
Oh no, a different one. My friends, I mean, Dallas and Pagani and Schick from PP.
Yep. I'll tell you what. So you get out of the frying pan, you go right into the old fire-oo, you know. You stop working on the steampunk and you start working on, I don't know, the most successful IP of the last decade or two. And so they've got this this Marvel game. It's a 40 millimeter miniatures game, and fantastic. It's I'm not sure I have room in my life for it, but it looks pretty great. I mean, I could paint that Hulk guy for sure.
I'll be honest. I've read the rules, and it is a great mashup of so many different game features. You can tell that they let's see what we like from games and find a way to make them work for our game. And they did a great job. I am looking forward to playing it. I was tasked by my local crew, Marshall and all that, to John, you should read those rules. Let us know if we're in or not.
All right, so John, you should read those rules and see if I'm in or not.
Well, I mean, it depends if you get people to play it, but you haven't played all the games, so I mean, I'm gonna switch back to the face cam actually, since
go ahead.
I am probably done for tonight because I don't feel like starting on a million different cobblestones.
Dude, I hear you. I'm gonna work on these little paw armors here, and then I'm probably done for the night too. But I would be comfortable with taking the next, 13 minutes we've got here in this segment to talk about this Marvel game, and I would love to have you walk me through it, buddy.
Absolutely. So it uses a little bit of everything. I'm not going to do an exhaustive bit of it, but I'm going to sort of show you where their influences come from and, where it is. So let's start with a game near and dear to this podcast's heart, which is War Machine.
Okay.
So your heroes gain power every turn, and when they're hurt, that they use for their superpowers.
Like Focus.
Sort of like Focus or Fury.
Yep.
So that's cool. I like that it's not just you got this huge pool and you blow stuff up and it comes back. You actually have to manage it. So it's a little bit of that, that game feature in it. And then what I like is it's got a little bit of Malifaux in it, sort of. It's actually the mission system is like a cross between sort of Malifaux and Star Wars Legion.
Okay. So what we're talking about here is your individual characters, or your side will have some type of a mission they're on or something like that?
Yeah, so you'll have mission cards. There are two types. I forget. One's like an extraction. One's like one's a get stuff out of there. One's a take and hold.
Okay.
And you guys will figure out priority by rolling crazy dice. And then you'll okay, I won. I'm going to choose to do the extraction. So you'll shuffle up, get two of your cards from your extraction pool, and choose which one to put, and you put it face down, and they'll go, okay, the other one, I'll shuffle up, grab two of my cards from the other type, and then look at the two, and then put one face down. Then you flip them, and those two are your mission combined.
Got it.
And then on that is your list of how many points you're playing. Now, it sounds weird, but that's sort of Malifaux style, because Malifaux, technically, you don't build your crew until you know exactly what you're playing.
Right. I remember you talking about that on one of the shows, that it's very different in that respect, so that you get a chance to kind of customize who you're bringing to the party.
Those specialized models that are only good in 1-2 scenarios are still worth it in your collection, because you're not wasting your list space with them, because you're like, I'm not bringing them because they're not good in this particular pool we have. It's sort of the same thing. If you have, say, Black Widow who's good at X and Y, if X and Y didn't come up, you don't bring her.
Right. Got it.
You have a pool of 10 heroes, and you build your team out of those 10 heroes with the points value.
Because why would the Avengers bring the wrong guy to the party?
Well, I mean, they wouldn't unless it's the only people they have. But I really like that feature. That's cool. And then more sort of Fantasy Flight influence is the dice are 8-sided, and they're all funky sides. It's not just D8s.
Fair enough.
But rather than having offense and defense dice, they just have dice.
Okay.
And dice have hits, blocks, criticals, and wilds, and a couple blanks. and you roll them against each other. All in the same dice makes it interesting, so it's not like pulling my other dice out for defense. I like one type of die, even if it's even if you have multiple types of dice, as long as you're only rolling dice for one thing. That's what I like about Star Wars Armada is I'm only rolling dice for offense, even if they're different colors based on what kind of weapons I'm using. I'm only rolling offense dice.
Yep, makes sense.
So you roll the same dice, so it's offense and defense on the same die, and you compare that and you take damage. It's actually impossible to one round a character because if you do all their wounds, they're just dazed, and then at the end of the turn, you clear the daze and they flip over to the injured side, and you still get to play with them potentially, which is good because making it easier for you to keep your cool model you just painted and want to play with in action is a great idea. It's a great positive game experience, which is a rare thing to say when you're looking at a game design.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if we talk about some of the things that have always kind of turned us off maybe in the past on things, it's we've spent all this time making this beautiful model, and then it leaves the table, or it's useless. Yep. And this is a case where it's very unlikely that any of this stuff is going to be useless.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'll always have missions where they're useful, and you'll get to play with them. The other thing is they use sort of, I would say Star Wars Legion style movement tools for their movement, but they're a little more canny about how they say they move. Rather than just being put at one end, end up at the other end, it's put at one end, end up in base with it anywhere you want to along its line. And it does the curve and the bend in the middle. So you're like, I'm going to be over here on the side. It's like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Dan brought up a very interesting thing in the chat room, and that is that this is probably compatible with O-scale train stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool. It turns out that my son Charles's grandfather had a lot of train stuff. So I've actually got a fair amount of train terrain, and so maybe that's something that, hey, the Avengers are duking it out in Christmas Village, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, 10 models each is not terrible, and that's only if you're playing full. You could just come with, you could be like, you can't have more than X points. I'm only going to bring X points. That's entirely possible.
Cool.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the rules. They were very easy to follow. I mean, the rulebook's online for free. Just go to Atomic Mass Games and look it up. There's a big, quick link there.
Yeah.
Very much enjoyed taking a look at that. The models they showed some scale. Like he said, they're 40 millimeter, but that doesn't really register in the mind. To give you an idea, Black Widow is about the same height as one of the new Primaris Space Marines, which means she's taller than an old Space Marine.
Okay.
But not a lot. She's like maybe a head taller at most than an old Space Marine.
Then Hulk is going to be a pretty damn good sized model.
Yes. And
cool.
I mean, you got industry veterans working on it. They're teamed with Asmodee, which means they have a great distribution channel. It's plastic models, so easy to put together, easy to clean. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'd always been trying to get into like the DC game, waiting for a rule book, and of course they announced a rule book just in time for Marvel to come in and go like, "Oh hey, you like Marvel? Here's us."
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's really exciting, folks. Perhaps as we continue to toddle along here on the Wednesday night extravaganza, that is something that we could potentially look at. I will certainly float the idea past the inimitable one, the Troll Chuck, and see if he is interested. And we'll take a look at the starter set and see if we can get our hands on it. See if that's something, because I know that the $45 for Hulk. Well, $45 for a Warjack? I've paid that much.
Yeah, I mean, they seem expensive, but it's sort of like, sort of like Malfa models and all. Like when you realize how few you're using, you're like, yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Now, is it? You said 10 models. Is that how many are on a side? Is it 10?
10 I don't know how many are going to be on a side. Most of the battles look like they're 4 or 5, but you'll have 10 in your pool, so to speak.
Cool. Your Deadpool? Anyway, so that's another model that'll probably be coming out. But anyway, so yeah, John.
Mm-hmm.
Should we? It's about that time. Should we start talking about media now?
Absolutely, we can do that.
All right, here we go, folks. There you go. There's your media center section music. So, ladies and gentlemen, we teased at the beginning of this show that we had a very super special review of the upcoming Explodorama Hobbs and Shaw.
Yes, we did.
So You know, John, as I have sat in many a movie theater over the summer, looking at that, I looked at it and said to myself, you know, that could be good, clean American fun right there. That could be something that is so ludicrous and over the top. I'm a big Jason Statham fan. I love me some rock. This could be a quality 1 or 2 shots of Kraken experience. John, talk me through it. Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, you're exactly right. It is that kind of movie. It sets its rules. It is ridiculous in all the right ways.
Fantastic.
It is so self-aware of what it is that you sit down, you just enjoy yourself, and you laugh through the whole thing.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I don't want to spoil too much, but there are some quality cameos in of actors who seem a little large to be cameoing in a movie like this, but they are.
Well, I mean, Jason Statham and Rock are 2 of the more popular action movie kind of people. And, you know, sometimes people just, if you're an actor, I would imagine, can't say this for certain because I'm not an actor, that sometimes you just want to have fun and get paid for it.
Yep. And the 2 guys look like they had fun. They were both actors with some comedic chops.
Super sweet.
Very enjoyed seeing them in there. And the whole plot is, I looked at Not Brushhead Dave after watching this movie. I'm like, this is the role-playing game I wish to play in. It's just completely over the top. It's crazy. It's the plot is, you're like, okay, that's the plot. Fine. And you just go in, and it's just ridiculous. You know, they beat the crap out of a bunch of guys. They have a great bad guy. Idris Elba is awesome.
Oh, I would literally pay money to watch Idris Elba read the phone book.
He's
on the list.
Amusing in this. I don't want to say he's the best actor. He's probably the best actor in this.
Honest to God, on the list of people I'd switch sides for. So
it is just a great action romp the whole way through. Like I said, it sets its rules, and it stays to its rules the whole time.
And honestly, can we ask much more from a movie? Internal consistency is the absolutely the thing. As long as physics works consistently, I
mean, I wouldn't say it's physics. The physics of the movie work pretty consistent.
Well, no, that's what I'm talking about.
Physics.
We've established new physics, and now we're going to step to new physics.
Yeah, because, I mean, this movie took real physics out on the side of the road, beat it bloody, and left it dying in the ditch.
Oh, I get that. I get that completely. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. The female lead in it is also very good. She paints a good picture of an actually competent, I don't want that sounds terrible, of a competent female hero who only needs the guys because she's outnumbered and hunted by things that are way meaner than her.
Oh no, but I mean that's a departure.
She does not need them.
That's a departure from the femme fatale BS that we've had to deal with for so very long. A competent, and we mean that in the best ways. We mean that she's a badass in her own way, and that's a great thing.
And she's not just like a potential romantic interest for one of the main guys or anything. Though obviously there is some there with one of them, but it's not like at any point remotely the focus of the movie at all.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good news. I think this one might have some potential for the weekend with the family, to be honest.
It's a hoot. It is firmly PG. Like, I'm sure people die, but you don't see it, so it's okay.
Fair enough.
And I enjoyed the crap out of it. I told Not Brushhead Dave, I'm like, you know, when Marshall calls and asks, I'd go see this again in the theater.
Very good.
If I had to pay for it even.
Very good. Give L. Marshall a big high five for me when you get an opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm gonna give it one shot of Kraken because it was just that good of a hoot. I mean, it was one of the better movies I've seen this year. Just pure for fun.
That's fantastic.
It's not high cinema by any stretch, but man, a great time.
Man, that's fantastic. So what I'd like to talk about, John, is I would like to talk about a streaming service called Tubi.
Okay.
And Tubi is, I've got a PlayStation 4 that's sort of the center hub of my media stuff. And it is one of the applications that's available on the PlayStation 4, and I'm sure it's available through other smart video items, whatever, televisions and whatnot. And Tubi is one of those kinds of things like Crackle, where they put the commercials on occasionally. They're really crappy commercials, and they're only on every now and again because they've spent about a grand total of $35 on all the movies that they're showing for the entire service. This is where bad movies go to die. And this has some really terrible stuff in it. It's sort of where, like, you know, Aliens versus Predators, couldn't afford that, but we've got Not From This World versus Hunters. You know, it's all these terrible B-rated movies that are sort of schlocky knockoffs. You know, it's that science that porno invented a whole long time ago, where it wasn't The Spy Who Loved Me, it was The Spy Who Humped Me, and things like that. This is where those movies went to die, as long as they weren't like porno. Does it have Epoch? I don't know if it has Epoch, but it might.
I'm going to say that was on Amazon Prime up until at least recently.
Yeah, so Tubi is got some. So when Troll Chuck, my son, discovered Tubi, he fell himself in with both feet, and because that boy do like him some bad movies. So you know, if you're looking for I think it's got Atlantic Rim on it right now. And Atlantic Rim is bilgewater, and that is an insult to bilgewater everywhere.
Atlantic Rim might be the worst movie I've seen, but I have a challenger.
It might be, you say. See, folks, you can go to other podcasts and other videocasts that are, like, you know, semi-professional. We are fucking professional, bitches, because we have segues. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, was a great segue by the co-host with the mo-host. A challenger appears, you say?
Yes, indeed. It's great that in 2 consecutive weeks, I've watched a movie that is the worst movie I've seen all year. I'm in a great place.
I am on the edge of my seat.
I'm going to give some backstory for the whole worst movie I've seen all year. I started the year with The Beastmaster, which I know some of you people love, but I didn't see it when I was a kid. I saw it as an adult, and that movie is not good.
Oh, no, it's terrible. It's just bad.
The best thing about it are the goddamn ferrets.
The ferrets are badass.
Yeah. So that was the worst movie I've seen all year, and it lasted all the way up till last week when I watched Punisher Warzone, which is fuck awful.
Punisher Warzone. So it's based on... No, Bonzi, Turkish Star Wars is amazing. Just walk away from Turkish Star Wars. But, so, Punisher, is it based on the comic book character?
Oh, yeah. It's the third Punisher movie, the second of relative recent history. It starred... You don't remember his name. He's in all the movies. I don't really care. It starred some guy who's been in better movies and will continue to be in better movies than this. It was just terrible. It has a moment in it where there's some parkour bad guys jumping around, jumping over buildings, and while the one is jumping across the building, a rocket comes in and turns towards him and hits him. To which I paused the movie, looked at Brad, and said, and he's like, "Did we just see that?" So wordlessly, I rewound it, we watched it again, it happened again, and he's like, the rocket curved. I hit pause, I went, and I got a bottle of alcohol, I drank a shot right there. Yes, Ray Stevenson, thank you, Dan. He's been in much better movies and should be ashamed of himself. This movie is terrible. It's not really his fault.
The fact Dan knows this character, this actor, and that's a shame.
So there you go. That had unseated briefly Beastmaster, the worst movie I've seen all year. But oh no, the new challenger. Last Friday, I got done working at 8, working from home, and I run downstairs. I'm like, let me watch some movie, and I'm like clicking through Amazon, like Robo Vampire. That seems like that's going to be awesome.
Robo Vampire.
Technically, awesome is the correct word. I was in awe the entire time.
You were full of...
I realized movies could be quite that shitty and low budget.
You were awed, and you were full of awe.
Yes, it was. There's no other words for it.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, so it's called Robo Vampire, right? So kind of the shtick for vampires is that they suck blood, and that is how they live, right?
Well, so they are Chinese hopping vampires.
Oh, well, shit, you didn't mention Chinese hopping vampires.
Oh yeah, they're one of the bright spots of the movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, he couldn't get through that sentence without breaking up. So the Chinese hopping, dear God have mercy. Robo Vampires, this is on Amazon?
Yeah, so it's on Amazon Prime, but let me start. Do not watch it.
Challenge accepted.
I mean, so I believe this movie was made by someone to be partially a ripoff of RoboCop, but they didn't watch RoboCop. Someone told them about RoboCop, and they based everything they did off of that. The costume for their robot, their RoboCop, their robot soldier, I forget what they call him. I freaking didn't care at that point. I'm going to be honest. And keep in mind, I'm stone sober through the entire thing, which is probably my biggest mistake. But their costume probably cost about $12.50.
That's not $1,250. That's $12.50.
Yeah, it's terrible. They overdub the whirring noises when he's moving. It's the cost. Like, if you get the good promo picture, people look online like, that doesn't look that bad. I'm like, that is the best that costume looks in a stationary pose when he's not moving and showing that it does not move with him well. That's saying something, because the original RoboCop costume did not move with it well, but a superior actor like Peter Weller makes that shit work. This guy's not a superior actor. I hesitate to call him an actor. But
he is a person that attempted to act.
Yeah, and then later in the movie, plot. Nah. Plot. Drug dealers, anti-drug dealers. Drug dealers use vampires to fight off the cops. I'm not making that up. Someone else did.
I can see the pitch meeting right now. Hey, I got this idea for a movie. What we got to do here is we've got this like drug war, right? So the drug dealers are using robo vampires to fight the cops.
Oh, it's worse. They're not robot vampires. They're just straight vampires.
Sorry.
They like put the two together. There's a robot and a vampire. And the funny thing is, that's only half the movie. The movie has sort of two plots going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really intersect. They sort of involve the same overall criminal syndicate.
Okay.
But not really at all. It'd be like watching John Wick kill, one band of Russians while, someone else is attacking his brother's Russian band, and they don't actually meet at all.
It's just two movies that kind of happen together.
Yeah. And the second movie, which has no vampires, no robots, and is pretty standard crappy action flick, is almost worth watching. I mean, that one's the highlight of it. Even if it still doesn't make any sense, there is no scene progression. It's just, we need to get to the next scene. Go! Suddenly they're bathing together, and now they got to run away from the bad guys because they showed up while they were flirting.
So wait a second.
Love stories.
Did the producer actually just buy another movie and then splice another movie into it?
No, because there is a bad guy who goes between the two movies. But they could have put that in, but it looked pretty similar, shitty quality to the other shitty movie.
I keep trying to make sense out of this, and it's not working.
No, there's no sense. That's one plot. And that's, like, if you watch that, you'd be like, oh, okay, it's like a kung fu movie just with guns and all. It's disposable, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the robot and vampire portion, that involves, them raising a powerful vampire who shoots fireworks from his hands.
As you do.
And that's how the guy got almost killed, and they're like, he's dead. Like, well, I've got a plan. I want to make him into a robot. All right, go ahead. And then the worst montage of the sort comes apart. That's barely a montage. I'm like, that's not, okay, you know what? I don't care. So they unleash the robot, and he's fighting them, and he's very slow, but he's got a powerful gun because vampires are immune to guns. And he's fighting them, and the bad guys show up, and they use a law on him. And they have the scene where they have this like bad cardboard model of them that you barely see, but they explode it. And you're like, oh shit! I'm like, quick, rescue the robot! And the rescue was like, what happened? And they're looking at him like, oh, he short circuited. I'm like, that was a rocket. That doesn't short circuit.
That's
not.
What
the fuck is going on?
That's not how rockets work. Yeah.
So they rebuild him and send him back out, and he's fighting the vampire and the vampire's ghost lover. They were lovers in life. They died. Now he's a vampire. They can't be together because she's a ghost. He's a vampire. It is actually a plot line in the story, and probably only the ones that's mostly fulfilled, and it's still terrible. I don't even know. I mean, I can't make this up. I don't take enough cocaine to make this stuff up.
This is a fever dream.
It is. And there's a couple points where the robot, who's very slow and ponderous, or robot even uses voice moving, does the like super kung fu leap into places. You're like, what? You can't. I don't even. You gave up. And that's the biggest sin of this movie, is that there are points where obviously it gave the fuck up. It never made any sense. I mean, Atlantic Rim has a coherent plot. It's not a good one. It has terrible acting, but it has acting. This barely has acting.
Robo Vampire.
It is probably the worst movie I've ever seen.
Okay.
The only reason I would call Atlantic Rim worse is because they actually had a modicum of budget and real quote unquote actors in it, and they still made that shit. This, they've got like some guys they found out there in, wherever it was made, Thailand or whatever the fuck, in 1988, and let's just make a movie. You're like, okay, fine, you tried and failed. Turkish Star Wars called and laughed at you. The Turkish Star Wars is nonsensical overall, but it has a basics of a plot.
Oh God, yeah.
But it's like Turkish Star Wars without the enjoyment. There are no good parts to make fun of. You're just like, the fuck is going on?
Turkish Star Wars is, in my opinion, a charming little movie. Turkish Star Wars was an attempt by a struggling group of people who were trying to make a movie to do the best they could, and they just happened to they didn't know how to make a movie, and then it happened, and then they ended up with a reel of film.
They know how to make a movie. These people don't know how to make a movie.
Yeah.
So, if it didn't seem obvious by now, 5 shots of Kraken, and may God have mercy on their souls.
Well, for God's sake, there you have it, folks. It only took us our second episode of coming back here with the show to hit another 5-shot of Kraken classic. So, folks, for those
find the winners.
For those of you who, as a recap, for those of you who are playing along at home, the 5 shots of Kraken club, if you will, it's an exclusive club, would be Turkish Star Wars, Atlantic Rim, and Robo Vampire. And I will tell you, there's a striation between those 3 movies, as far as how it goes. And it sounds like Robo Vampire might be the worst of the 5-shot Krakens.
It is. I mean, I would give it to Atlantic Rim because they, like I said, they actually had a plot. They could have made something competent. I don't think there was any chance of these guys making anything competent ever.
Atlantic Rim was so bad.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
Bad. So, folks, John Con 2019 may have a Robo Vampire movie night. We'll see.
Dan, I apologize.
Yeah.
I did not mean for this to happen to you, man.
Yep.
Please, I apologize.
So we'll see. We'll talk to Troll Chuck on this one. He is our bad movie advisor here for John Con. He is a program manager for bad movies at Casa John, and we'll get him to take a look at it. And if he's still not vomiting, we'll go ahead and see if we can do it. So,
and just because I love all of you who will be there, there is a sequel. I haven't seen it. I probably won't watch it, but there's a sequel.
So, Sassy Grey
It's on Amazon Prime also, because, I mean, why not?
Robo Vampire. Bonzi, I guess I'm staying in VA. No, come on, guys. It's for charity. It's for charity and for shits and giggles. And
it's not blow your brains out bad. It's not like Batman vs. Superman where you're like, God, will it end? It's only an hour and a half long. It just feels like 3 hours.
But remember, folks, there's enough people that bring beer to John Con that you will make it through this.
Yeah, with 5 shots of Kraken, I imagine you'll be having a great time.
Yep. And we will have Kraken on hand to make sure that it happens. So, John,
that's the last time I get off work and don't have alcohol at hand to watch a movie with.
There you go. You know, folks, I was told by a very smart gentleman in Buffalo, New York, and it's not Rich, somebody else. It's not Dan, somebody else. That a meeting should take no longer than the amount of time you have to say things. And, John, we pre-rambled. We talked for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm ready to call it a night. What about you?
I want to say one thing, since I did go to the Queen concert on Tuesday.
Oh, bring it on.
Last Tuesday. It was fucking awesome.
Really?
If you have the chance, somehow, some way, tickets aren't cheap, fucking see it. It was great.
What was it?
It was Queen with Adam Lambert. It's Adam
okay.
Lambert and Brian May and the drummer, who of course names I always forget and I feel terrible.
Fantastic.
And their backup band, and it was great. I mean, Adam Lambert is doing a great homage to Freddie Mercury without trying. He doesn't wear anything he actually wore, but he wears a good homage to him. Brian May is still awesome. It's a great fucking show.
Cool. Well, we'll have to keep our eyes open for that. That would be an amazing show.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, folks, there you have it. Robo Vampire.
What can I say? I find winners.
Get over there. Get over there to Amazon Prime. Watch that shit. Paint a bear. Paint not a bear.
Yeah, I got some painless stuff too. It was all good.
So,
some ponies.
The goal for next week, kids, is to finish that model that you're working on. You can do it. We are gonna be back next week, John. If you're available, I'm available.
Of course.
Hot damn tamale, folks. That's double painting with Menoth John. That is the first back-to-back episode of Painting with Menoth John. We'll do something special about it. I don't know what it'll be. I'll invent some shit, because that's how we roll here on Painting with Menoth John. I am going to finish this first bear, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get me some of that contrast paint so that we can demonstrate that like we talked about on the first episode of Series 3 of Painting with Menoth John. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the co-host with the mo-host, Mr. John Spencer. Ho, you can say it. There you go. Give him the salute. I'm Menoth John. We'll see you this time next Wednesday. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody.